and welcome to my talk on complementary and alternative medicines. And today I will be discussing the significance of plant-spirit medicines and ayahuasca. So complementary and alternative medicines are alternative methods to conventional medicines, such as spirituality, even spending time outside, as Javier and Esther will speak on in later talks. And I'm sure you have all used some sort of supplement before. So literature has shown a steady increase, and in 2021 they found that 4 out of 5 Americans are now using dietary supplements, and this indicates an insufficiency within the conventional model, as if the conventional medicines were working, we wouldn't be seeking these alternatives. As mentioned previously, there is a deficiency within the current model, primarily because they seem to seek out symptomatic preventions instead of curing from the root cause, as displayed on the left-hand side there. And the primary reasons for people choosing to use CALM are the benefits and safety, and the overall dissatisfaction with conventional medicine. Potentially, what we are searching, many cultures use what we would perceive as alternatives as their conventional medicine, and would only use our conventional medicine as a last resort. What we are searching for to add to conventional medicines could be potentially found in other cultures around the world. However, to prove this anecdotal knowledge, scientific assessment is required to increase the trials, to identify any safety required, and to identify the proper dosage required. So in earlier times of human history, people lived in harmony with the natural world, and they regarded plants as sentient, aware, intelligent, alive, and healers in their own right. This is a quote by Ross Heaven that sums up plant-spirit medicine quite well. Another is by Dr. Terence McKenna, an ethnobotanist, and he said that plants are alive and that they are talking to us, and that this is not a metaphor. Plant-spirit medicine is the idea that plants have character, and that they have spirit, which can be communicated with through ingestion. The scientific paradigm is denying the cultural beliefs of many folk traditions around the world. For example, the common weed that we would regard the common mint that we would regard as a weed is used by pagan cultures to contact deities. And the spirit of ayahuasca is used by Amazonian shamans to help them in their healing process. Although this may seem like an impractical concept, the practice of plant-spirit medicine is deeply rooted in cultures such as South America. So plant-spirit medicine in South America is linked to thousands of years of spiritual practices in order to maintain a deep relationship between the plant and the person. The first practice is master plant dietas, in which a curandero or a shaman would spend roughly 2 weeks, but sometimes up to a year, living in isolated meditation in a tambo, which is the hut to the bottom right. And during this time, they would only ingest a master plant teacher and rice, and this is to become one with the plant and to build a relationship in both the wake and the dream state. During this time, they would primarily be taught Icaros, which are known as healing songs, and they then integrate these into ayahuasca ceremonies. Different plants teach different Icaros. You can think of it like the specialities within conventional medicine. The second practice is ayahuasca ceremony, and during ceremony, curanderos would work with ayahuasca and the Icaros, and over time they would integrate their teachings to diagnose and treat patients, to become the equivalent of our doctor. This is known as spirit-assisted healthcare, of which little is currently known. Now, the 3 main types of plant-spirit medicine are mapacho, a wild tobacco used to cleanse and clear space, a psychedelic cactus known as San Pedro, also the grandfather, and finally ayahuasca, also the grandmother. Now, this is a visual representation of the deeply rooted plant connection found in the Amazon. Here, curandero Don Miguel calls a master plant's tree spirit. Ayahuasca is an entheogenic brew made from a combination of two plants, the ayahuasca vine and the leaves of the chacruna plant. And it's really interesting as these plants do not have any effect when taken individually. However, when combined, they create a powerful medicine. And these profound effects occur through the brew releasing DMT into the system. DMT, also known as dimethyltryptamine, is the most powerful psychedelic on planet Earth. The medicinal use of this medicine is over 2,500 years old, compared to pharmaceuticals that were implemented in the mid-1800s. Traditionally, ayahuasca will be used as a diagnostic tool to treat patients. However, over the past 30 years, ayahuasca has evolved into a co-created medicine between ayahuasca, the plant spirits, the curandero, and the participant. And this is to allow the participant to become their own inner physician. And this level of healing is known as self-healing or deep soul retrieval by the curanderos. Now, the curandero's healing process is an extremely unique one in that they see their patient's illness as a chaotic bundle of energy patterns, as displayed on the top right. And through integrating Icaros with ayahuasca, a curandero can purge negative energies and transform these chaotic bundles into more harmonious patterns that cover the body by the end of a retreat. And that is displayed on the left-hand side. This is not just a psychedelic experience, it's a whole journey of healing that must be deeply respected for the medicine to work. Prior to ceremony, you would be expected to abstain from meat, oil, spicy foods, salts, sugars, sex, and drugs. And this is to primarily cleanse the body, but more importantly, it's to learn how to surrender. This is known as an ayahuasca dieta. Now, during the ceremony, you would enter a maloca. You can think of it like our church, and everyone will drink the medicine, and then 30 minutes will go by in silent meditation. This is a cathartic event that includes diarrhea, vomiting, and dry heaving, and can often last multiple ceremonies. Once essential healing is carried out, ayahuasca, the curanderos, and the plant spirits will assist in deep memory and trauma work, in which you may experience proliferations of colours, geometric patterns, spirit shamans, Mother Ayahuasca herself, and you may even be propelled to timeless dimensions more real than real. So the research on ayahuasca is developing, and there is now tangible evidence to support its medicinal effects, such as the rapid antidepressant effects, the speech performance effects on patients specifically with anxiety disorder, and substance addiction. But with the increase in popularity of ayahuasca, it is causing this thing called ayahuasca tourism. And it's having some effects on the environment, such as the vine being overexploited, causing the vine to potentially become endangered, and the creation of retreats is causing deforestation. And it's really important for the South Americans, the developers, and ayahuasca tourists to form an alliance to create a sustainable future for this medicine. And one potential is through pharmahuasca, of which MAPS is involved in. So this is a cyclical demonstration of MAPS and pharmahuasca. MAPS is dedicated to conducting rigorous scientific research on the safety and efficacy of psychedelics. They are leaders in radical change, and they are promoting consciousness without criminalization. And primarily, their main focus is cures rather than prevention. One medicine they are involved with is pharmahuasca. This is a synthetic form designed to mimic the effects of ayahuasca and is allowing for controlled and comparable testing. However, by doing this, they are removing the essence of the healing, which is the ceremony, the plant spirit, and the curandero. This demonstrates the importance of the biophilic connection between humans and plants, as there are many synergies which just can't be recreated in a lab. And finally, it is important to respect the set and setting which are rooted in spiritual beliefs and healing practices of indigenous communities to avoid biopiracy. The future of research is promising, but we must first be open to traditional knowledge for empirical research to be created. I have a few questions for you to reflect on, and these are: can traditional knowledge be integrated with science? Do plants have consciousness? And what can doctors learn from ceremony and curanderos? If you do get the calling to go and have ayahuasca, I would advise you to go with caution, research lots around the topic, beware of charlatans, and go with a well-known, verified organization. Thank you. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. They've already done work with psilocybin in America, and it's shown like profound effects on people's mental health. But like mentioned previously, like the ceremony and the shaman and the plant itself is such an integral part of the healing that it would be really difficult to have those same profound effects in like lab settings. So there could still be positive effects. I just don't know if they would be like as life-changing as taking the medicine with the ceremony and all that. Hello.
Do you think it's necessary to, because as you kind of said, a lot of these ceremonies are taking place in traditional spaces within the Amazon, which therefore can lead to things like deforestation, like you said.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a potential to possibly integrate this plant and still hold these ceremonies, but in spaces closer to home so that people aren't having to travel thousands of miles?
Yeah, 100%. So the Temple of the Way of Light is it's a retreat center in Peru, and basically they have specific shamans there, and they're starting to integrate these into Europe. I think there's a couple in Spain, and I think there's one in Italy as well. So yeah, it is slowly starting to come this way, and they're starting to grow it in Europe as well. So yeah, it's exciting times, and there's definitely potential for it to slowly come into Europe and start being implemented. But I think the key thing is bringing the shamans and keeping some sort of the culture, because they're literally drenched in like thousands of years of like knowledge that's passed down through family trees. So, yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you. Great. Is there examples of people growing the vine in cultivation to alleviate some of the pressures of the tourism people land harvesting it?
I haven't seen any research on the topic, and it's definitely becoming endangered, but it's kind of difficult to say how much is in the Amazon, because it's so massive. You could go into the forest and like end up finding stuff. So I haven't found any research on the cultivation.
So they're still harvesting it out there?
Yeah. And it could also be argued that like it being grown in the rainforest is an essential part of the nutrients and things like that. But yeah, I haven't seen any research on it, but it's interesting.
Is there a difference in the health of the communities that are using conventional medicine versus traditional ayahuasca?
Do you mean like specifically in South America or?
Well, yeah. So are they healthier?
I would say they're like much more. For example, I went to Peru last year, and just like that's one thing that inspired me really, is just seeing the really powerful connection to nature that I've never seen anywhere in the West before. Like I've seen little snippets of it, but yeah, they're much more. They don't even get to the state where they need a preventive medicine. You know what I mean? So their whole life they're practicing this plant spirit medicine. So like they're sort of already healed. So yeah, I would say that definitely there's much less like mental health effects over there, if that's what you're asking about. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions?
Last question.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of stigma with psychedelics. In Western world, do you think you could see it coming in here?
I mean, it's sort of a battle, and it could go one way, like it could be kept illegalized. But I think with the research that's coming out and the like significantly profound effects that they're having, I think like eventually it will go that way, and it will start to be integrated into the lives of everyone, and hopefully it'll get into the NHS and things like that. But there's a lot of work being done like in the background to sort of make sure that happens. It just needs to get, as you said, it just needs to get over the stigma of an illegal psychedelic, which is like dangerous and all this stuff. All good?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no,